A massive thank you to Scott, Lloyd, Reagan, Marcel and Kosh for subscribing to the channel. If you're not already featured in these clips, make sure you subscribe down below. Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back with round 8 of season 7 of the F1 2021 My Team Career Mode. Yes, already now at 1/3 distance of the final season here of our F1 2021 Career Mode. Of course, if you're new around here though, please do make sure you leave a like and get yourself subscribed to the channel. Of course, we've been jumping into some F1 2022 over the last few days. You know, if you missed out the video Monday that went live, one of the most ridiculous races I've ever done on any Formula 1 game on F1 2022, or F1 22, I think we're just dubbing it, this year round. So, you know, go check out that video if you haven't already. You know, the support over there has been absolutely incredible so far. Of course, I keep saying it, though, in each and every one of these videos. If you're not already, please do leave a like, get yourself subscribed. Trying to hit 50k now before F1 2022 does reveal in its entirety there. You know, we're less than 5,000 away. We're making pretty good progress up towards that goal. So yeah, if it could help me get one step closer, it would be massively, massively appreciated. But if you missed out the last episode on this series as well, I would highly, highly recommend going back and checking out. Baku, as always, delivered a phenomenal race in this series. But today, we head back to Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Obviously, the Canadian Grand Prix, one I've enjoyed and we've had a fair amount of success with in the past there. Championship-wise, though, currently 13 points clear of George Russell as we head into this weekend there. Red Bull still 16 points ahead of 2&2 Motorsport, though, in the Constructors' Championship. I know I keep saying it, but Max Verstappen really does need to start trying to pull his weight in this series there. Looks like already George Russell and I are going to be the two championship protagonists this year, and again, it looks like it's going to be us versus Red Bull in the Constructors there. Mercedes and Ferrari, pretty close, though, are battling for 3rd and 4th place as well here. But like I said, Canada, though, a very, very fun circuit, one I've got on well with in the past. Fingers crossed that momentum can continue this weekend. However, we often see changeable conditions and carnage at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Formula 1 is finally back in 2022, and now you can rep your favourite teams. Of course, using the F1 store, every team now has merch lineups available, whether you're an Aston Martin fan, a Williams fan, Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, the choice is completely up to you. But yeah, check out the F1 merch store down below for all the official releases from all of the teams. And of course, as always, if you use our links as well, you massively help support the channel. So yeah, give it a look and see if there's anything you like. So it's quite funny when I come now back to F1 2021 after doing a little bit more on the F1 22 game, just how much more grip you have. Just obviously, I mean, we are on a car that is effectively on the Motorsport terms of steroids underneath us, but yeah, just how much grip, how much space we got, and how much confidence you can have in the F1 2021 cars as well here. But like I said though, loving F1 2022 so far. I mean, that race at Imola, like I said, that we did a couple of days ago, that has just inspired me so much. You know, we've done a lot of F1 2021 career mode, and that is not going to be going anywhere on the new game. You know, we're going to continue the grind, continue the fun, everything like that. Absolutely loving it, and the support you guys have shown over the course of this game has been phenomenal as well. But yeah, just living the dream at the moment. Just, I never thought we get to these sorts of levels as an F1 content creator, but less sort of nostalgia and everything like that. We've got practice. Well, I mean, we don't really need to do the practice programs, but we're going to jump into them anyway. They're finding a lot of delta, obviously, down the back straightaway, get through the wall of champion chicane pretty nicely up towards the line, and that is going to be a purple score straight off the bat. Good way to start the weekend. And coming towards the end then of my qualifying simulation run, fingers crossed we're again going to be able to find a lot of delta as we head down in towards the final chicane there. This thing is just such a missile down the straightaways, but down in towards that final chicane we go there. Oh, taking a lot of curb on the way in, bit of a wiggle on the way out, but we are only just by half a tenth there. Going to pick up another score. That's only going to be the green one, though. Reckons now we're going to end up 5th at the end of qualifying. Only one way to find out. Let's get into qualifying, I suppose. Right, well here we are then, qualifying day at the Canadian GP, round 8 of the year. They're already a third of the way through this final season on F1 2021. But yeah, we need to try and get a good first lap in here. To be honest, I would love to make it out of Q2 on just the first set of tyres. It's looking pretty close between Ferrari, Red Bull and ourselves, so we need to try and get really a low 106, maybe even a high 105 would be a perfect little time to get into Q3 there, just so we've got one extra set of tyres ready for the final session here in qualifying. Through the first sector there, slight snap oversteer on the exit, but riding right up towards the wall and just trying to keep the lines nice and tidy as best as possible. They ran a little bit wide out of the second chicane, but so far so good. There we go, Daniel Ricciardo, first man back into the 106s there. George has done a 7-0, but I think that was on a set of mediums. Let's just wait and see, can we nail the run through the final chicane there? No, we cannot. Clip the grass on the way in there. Big wobble on the way out, but despite that, still going to be a 7 flat there. And yeah, George Russell definitely did do his lap on the mediums. Then Lance Stroll goes fastest in his Merc. But now we're going to have to use up our final set of Q2 tyres. We'll only have one fresh set for Q3. Sonoda now fastest. Mercedes are on the money. Right, well at the moment then we're right on the cusp of trying to make it through into Q3. Definitely was not prepared to take that risk, but would have rather just set a decent lap first time of asking.
We may see some rain. ETA is about 15 minutes.
There we go then. Could see some rain in Q3. Like I said, Canada so often do we see changeable conditions around this venue, but trying to put the power down out of the first sector. I'll just keep it tidy. Somehow, I felt our first sector last time around was pretty good, but we're still finding time there. Love that. Might just get a faint draft from our teammate as we head down in towards the final chicane there. George Russell now set to time we were expecting from the Red Bull man. Down onto the 106.3s, but we're going to be pretty close to that. If we get a good run out of the final chicane there, Lando Norris out of nowhere in his Alpha Tauri goes fastest at the end of Q2, but can we make sure we don't bottle the run? Oh, a lot of curb on the way in, but we get away with it down to P13 there, but it is going to be a 107 flat there, sorry, a 106 flat, and that puts us fastest at the end of Q2 and definitely sets the tone and says everyone else, you need to watch out in Q3. And there we go then, the end of Q2 there. Quarter of a second clear of Lando Norris. Went faster than George Russell there. So a bit like last weekend then, the top 3 British drivers on the podium make it the top 3 at the end of Q2 there. Any major shocks out in Q2? Daniel Ricciardo, Zhou Guan Yu, probably a bit unhappy with that. Giovinazzi as well, but he'll probably come back strong in the race there. And Verstappen, not actually that far away from where I'd want him to be. Let's get into Q3 then. We're only going to get one fresh set of tyres, but track conditions might be evolving quickly. And I absolutely called it then. Look at this start of Q3. Everyone's only going to get one run here because the rain is just meant to get worse and worse. So it really is just a question of trying to get onto your lap nice and early. Don't want to get caught and clogged up behind the Mercedes though. Grip still feels absolutely fine. We'll probably just have to be a little bit early on the brakes in a couple of places, but the rain has arrived here at Canada, so now the pressure is absolutely on. It's effectively a one-shot qualifying session, as turning and braking absolutely fine. They're just trying to get on the power is a little bit more difficult as we head through the first chicane. Too badly negotiated there. Just having to be super careful as well. Just a little bit of a snag there through the second chicane. Just trying to keep the lines clean and tidy there. Not taking massive risks, but also making sure we get the car exactly where we need it. Perez goes fastest. Oh! Oh! Don't tap that curb when it's starting to get a little bit slick out and about there, but still, Max Verstappen now, our teammate, goes up fastest at the moment. So track not rapidly falling off, but certainly it just doesn't quite feel the same. It's a bit like running the Williams in comparison to the 212 car there. Just not enough confidence. Lance Stroll now goes fastest as we head down in towards the final chicane. They attack the curbs on the way in and on the way out. Shortest run up towards the line. What's it going to be? It's not pole. Oh, I completely forgot it wasn't the end of qualifying because I let go of the steering because of the autopilot. It's not pole. It's only P3 at the moment, and Norris goes even faster. So people will get this one run in, but the track is going to get worse. Where are we going to end up at the end of qualifying here? I'm just going to let the others drive back round, because sometimes the AI then get a bit of a simulation bug. That's how seriously I'm treating this, because George Russell has not finished his lap. Well, there we go then. Qualifying done for the Canadian Grand Prix, and it is homeboy Lance Stroll who puts his Mercedes on pole position there. Max Verstappen joins him on the front row ahead of Lando Norris and myself there. But despite the tricky conditions, 7 cars separated by less than quarter of a second there at the end of qualifying is still rather insane. George Russell down in P9 though, ready for the Canadian Grand Prix. But can Lance Stroll finally get his second win of this series on the board? Oh wow, I'm sure he'd love to do it here at home. This channel is proudly sponsored by Bybit, the official crypto partner of Red Bull's Formula 1 team. I've been using their platform for my personal crypto savings over the last few months, and when they got in touch to support the channel, I was super excited. Currently, they're offering you guys a special new promo for the first 100 of you to deposit $10 or more onto the platform. You'll get another $10 free. Also, 5 lucky winners will get their initial deposit doubled up to $1,000. That means if you deposited $1,000 onto the platform using my codes below, you could be within a chance to get another $1,000 completely free. We've seen the landscape around crypto drastically change over the last couple of years, and I genuinely believe it holds an important place in our future. However, please be careful as always when trading, as you are liable to lose money. But if you're interested and you're 18 or older, click the link down below to get started and see why Red Bull and myself, as well as thousands of others, trust Bybit as their crypto.
Bonjour! It's time once again to go racing here in Montreal, the second largest French-speaking city in the world, and home since 1978 to the Canadian Grand Prix. We'll be seeing top speeds of around 210 miles an hour here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, with around 2/3 of the lap taken at full throttle. High-speed chicanes spell potential danger, especially at the infamous Wall of Champions. And watch out for overtaking into the hairpin and the final chicane. Alongside me to discuss all the action today is Anthony Davidson. Thanks for joining us, Ant. And tell me, you were down in the pit lane earlier. How do you think the track conditions are today?
Well, it's looking a bit cold out there, if I'm honest. These tyres have quite a narrow operating window in terms of the temperatures they need to extract the best grip. So with a cold track surface, it's going to be harder to keep those temperatures up, which will lead to lower grip and maybe more mistakes.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. A fantastic effort from Lance Stroll yesterday puts him on pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Norris, Mr. Monaco, Yuki Tsunoda, and Leclerc, Bottas, Russell, Sainz, and Daniel Ricciardo, Giovinazzi, Joe, Esteban Ocon, and Mick Schumacher, Aitken, Mazepin, Sergio Perez, and Callum Ilott, Lundgaard, Latifi, Schwartzman, and Luca Giotto. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
After the points finish last race, let's aim to keep the momentum going.
I'm worried now, just all of Jeff's stupid statements. We might just miss him on F1 at 22 there. But ready on the grid then here for the Canadian Grand Prix. One of very few tracks on the F1 game still. It is actually a 2-stop strategy here. So we're going to do soft, medium, medium. But we might try and change that around to soft, medium, soft, depending on how the race evolves there. But it looks like it's going to be rather overcast to begin with, but no threat of rain in today's Grand Prix. They're starting P4. Of course, last season here, we actually had contact with our teammate down at turn 1. Fingers crossed that doesn't happen here today then. We've got Lando Norris just alongside us, Verstappen just in front, 5 red lights, and he's going to be a very long hole, but lights out, and away we go. Oh, no, dipped a wheel on the grass there, and immediately someone's gone into the side of me. I think that was Charles Leclerc in his Ferrari there as Verstappen gets immediately squeezed out by Lance Stroll and gets caught out completely on the inside there. So Verstappen, after his first decent qualifying session of the year there, immediately dropping pretty much to, well, he has gone right to the back of the field there. So a horrendous start for both 2 and 2 Motorsport cars. Right when it looked like we could have made big gains on Red Bull in the championship there. George Russell a bit further down the order than he'd normally be. And Sergio Perez with some grid penalties. But Lance Stroll playing super firm through turn 1 there. Not allowing our teammate to try and make the move there, as we're all over the show on this opening lap. Somehow still keeping it pointing in the right direction there. Charles Leclerc's going to try and have a look up the inside as I massively outbrake myself down at the hairpin. George Russell's appeared out of nowhere. We were 3 wide on the exit of the corners. We've got yellow flags out. I think that's just for Constantina and up out of the hairpin here. But now suddenly we go from starting 4 places ahead of George Russell in this Grand Prix to him trying to have a look up the inside in towards the final chicane on that one there. Leclerc dives it in, so it was definitely contact with him at the start of this race there, as George Russell going to force him to the outside back in towards turn 1 and just slam that door shut. But Lance Stroll still leads the way then at the end of the opening lap, but not a good start by us. We need to settle down and get into a rhythm. Another big wobble out of the final corner there, as Stroll's still setting the pace at the front.
Enabled this lap. You can use it when within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
And we should get within the DRS range of Valtteri Bottas there. And with a bit of luck, he'll fall out of it off the back of Tsunoda. So Mercedes, for the first time in literal seasons here, looking like they have actually got a strong car that can battle for the race victory. Would love to see them getting involved in the battle at the front. But we need to focus on Bottas first. And also, of course, trying to keep Russell at bay.
Caution, caution.
Yellow flags out. Oh no! Stroll! Home race! In the lead, he's gone! What's happened to Stroll? Right on board then with the Canadian, down in towards the final chicane. Don't say he bottled it by himself. Oh my! Lance Stroll, leading his home Grand Prix, has chucked it away. His first win in 6 years. Mercedes' first win in about 3 years. And it's all gone on lap 3 here in Canada. Heartbreaking. I was always going to say, it was a bit optimistic to run a virtual safety car when there's a car parked in the final chicane there. But safety car has now been deployed then in this GP. I don't think it's worth pitting though. I reckon we stay out. However, at the end of lap 4, there definitely seems to... Oh, there's definitely a difference in opinions then. Tsunoda stayed out. Russell behind us has stayed out as well, which is super important. But Norris and Bottas, sorry, both into the pits. Team really are trying to get us to go the other way, but I just don't believe in it. I think track position is going to take priority here. Well, seems like the marshals have got things sorted then very quickly here, as it's going to be green flag racing at just the end of lap 5. So going to try and apply pressure to Yuki Tsunoda. I think he has just nailed that at the final corner there. We get a horrible run as we try to stick to the back of the Mercedes there, but it is going to be Tsunoda that leads off the restart as we head back down towards turn 1. Got to desperately try and get heat back into the tyres. They're just snagging the front brakes through the first corner.
You'll be on the mediums.
But I think we now got to try and extend this stint just a couple of laps longer. Of course, those safety car laps don't really take much out of the tyres. And let's see if we can stick close and maybe apply a move on Yuki. Oh!
Some information on Eilert. It looks like the problem is terminal. They're retiring the car.
Well, Eilert now out of the Grand Prix and Perez straight into the pits. What's happening? Like, it only looks like Eilert's done exactly the same thing as what Lance Stroll did just a few laps ago there. Yeah, Eilert into the wall then. So the wall of champions. Clearly, Lance Stroll and Callum Eilert are destined for great things in the future. Perez, though, in the pits, completely unrelated. He was already in the box before Eilert span. Yeah, there we go, though, this time round. Definitely going to be making the call into the pits. 2 safety cars inside the first 6 laps here is kind of crazy. It's the only sort of thing you get here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. But, yeah, let's see if... I'm sure Tsunoda will do the same there. And it might actually mean the cars that boxed last time round are effectively going to leapfrog all the way to the front. Let's just wait and see as we head down the back straightaway. Of course, Yuki and I trying to get as close to the Delta as we possibly can. In fact, you can be a little bit cheeky, actually, on pit entry as we try and stick all over the back of Tsunoda there on the way in. Could we get the jump on him, or are we going to get jumped by other cars there? I think Tsunoda might be about to get screwed in this race by just virtue of being at the wrong end of the pit lane here. We now effectively take the lead. No, it's going to be Christian Lundgaard who leads the way here.
Go, go, go.
As we have been given a free stop over Yuki Tsunoda and a whole host of other cars. Where are we going to re-emerge?
Okay, you only have
Looks like we're going to be in ninth still.
One stop left.
So has helped the likes of Bottas, Leclerc, and I think, yeah, it was Lando Norris who opted to pit. I think Lando Norris might be up in the lead still, despite pitting. And there we go then, end of just lap 8. We're going to have the second safety car in then in this Grand Prix. So are we now going to be able to try and make some moves on the likes of Bottas here? It's a bit uncertainty about what's going on with the strategy. Is yeah, we're going to get my famous curtain probably back in shots at some point here, because British summer is coming, boys. But anyway, let's try and get ready to go green then once more here in the Canadian Grand Prix. We're all over the back of Bottas once more before any of these shenanigans began.
Okay, clear.
As it is green flag racing as we head back down towards turn 1. Not quite going to be able to look for anything just yet. That being said though, a lot of concertina and up always means some opportunities to try some different lines there as we go side by side with Bottas at the first couple of turns. But that McLaren just has so much torque on exit. McLaren, Bottas hang on. And we stay in P9 there as now Yuki Tsunoda trying to look for a move. Here comes Tsunoda though, down in towards the hairpin. He's going to look up the inside of Valtteri Bottas. We almost had to go to the outside of the flying fin.
Okay, we've lost the position. That's us down a place.
It certainly is us down a place there, because Tsunoda got an absolute monstrous run. But now, oh, I thought about making it 3 wide. Down in towards the final chicane there. We've got loads more cars pitting at the end of that lap. It's all kicking off here. And somehow we go straight back past Tsunoda. And look at this, Lando Norris in all of this has now suddenly ended up with a good 4-5 second lead at the front of the field there. But I thought Verstappen would have pit before now in this GP. We've got to try and extend this stint quite far into the Grand Prix. But still, looking at the Husky chocolate logos on the back of the McLaren. Right, come on then, Valtteri Bottas. Let's see if we can get another run on the McLaren. Surely once the DRS has been re-enabled, he's going to be a sitting duck in this GP there. But we went from Mercedes looking like they had good pace in this Grand Prix to now Ferrari running second and third here, but now AlphaTauri in the lead.
DRS is now enabled.
DRS though now enabled in this GP, and Bottas here desperately trying to get within the 1 second zone of Charles Leclerc, otherwise he knows he's going to be very, very vulnerable to me. Oh, Bottas feeling the pressure then, bit of a lock-up down at the hairpin, but unfortunately it compromises my exit there, just a tiny bit of contact with the rear end of Valtteri Bottas's car. But can we get a run down in towards the final corner? Doesn't look like this time because of that run we could, as Bottas just sits in the middle of the road there. We'll try and go slow in, fast out though at the final corner. Both of us trying to put well over 1,000 horsepower into the tarmac, but to the outside of Bottas towards turn 1 there. The Finn's going to try and keep the nose up the inside, but we give him all the room in the world, but make sure we stay inside the white lines.
Nice move.
And Bottas hangs on ahead of Tsunoda as well, which is super important in this Grand Prix, because I am worried about that Mercedes. Anyway, one car navigated, let's go get those Ferraris. And now we're starting to apply some pressure to Charles Leclerc in this Grand Prix. Got within the range of the Ferrari. And again, just a tiny bit of contact down in towards a big braking zone there. The AI don't seem very confident on the anchors this weekend, which doesn't happen often on F1 2021. But anyway, trying to now get the run off the corner on Charles Leclerc. Sorry, I'm not very good with my names today either. Seem to be struggling with the commentating there. But to the inside of Charles Leclerc, and that Ferrari has not got anything like we've got down the straights there. Prancing horses versus German ponies. And German ponies this time round come out on top. Next up, Carlos Sainz there. But look at that, Lando Norris already 7 seconds in the lead.
Faster than the car ahead. Keep this up.
A second a lap faster than Carluccio though. Let's go get him. All over the back now of Sainz as we head back down towards turn 1, and there we go. By virtue of the DRS, new fastest lap of the Grand Prix, so that gives us some confidence that Lando Norris even is beatable in this Grand Prix. They're still 6 seconds up the road, and now we're going to lose a little bit stuck in the dirty air here. Unfortunately, of course, the next straight coming up just isn't really long enough, you know, unless we're going up against like a Haas car or something like that. It's just not long enough to really make a move work on the Spaniard here. You can see we don't get the best run off the corner. We gain, but unless you are feeling super brave or on a fresh set of tyres, Just not quite close enough to make anything work. However,
A new strategy is available on the MFD.
wasn't actually what I was going to say, but Jeff butted in there like he tends to, with a pretty meaningless strategy change at the moment. Oh, and unfortunately it's distracted me. Now we're going to lose a load of time to Sainz, and we'll have to do it all over again. Well, luckily, of course, the detection point out on that back straightaway, of course, is here. So we actually still had the DRS on Carlos Sainz there, and that's allowed us to stay a whole lot closer than we probably would have. Can we now get a run on the Spaniard, as we're almost at the halfway stage of this GP? Plenty of action early on here in Canada, but is the second Ferrari going to be as much of a sitting duck as the first? Sainz trying to go defensive on me as we head down the back straight. Oh, Sainz, big move there in the braking zone, and somehow on the grass we pull the move off on Carlos Sainz there. That was just trying to get the car slowed down, never mind trying to hit an apex.
Behind is 13.7 seconds.
It has meant, unfortunately, we've lost all the brake markers down at the end of the back straight there. But like I said, I was just trying to get the car slowed down. I never thought we'd get it sort of slowed down, and kind of ended up facing in towards the corner there. Sainz, that you can be as aggressive as you like, mate. Somehow, even accidentally, I can make the move work on F1 2021. Anyway, Lando, 6 seconds up the road still. We've got to really now get our head down and focus on closing this gap. Sainz into the pits then at the end of lap 19, so he is making the transfer over onto, I'm guessing, his final set of mediums then to see him through to the end of the Grand Prix. I'm wondering if we can drag these tyres another 5 laps, might be able to make the transfer onto softs towards the end. Oh, getting very close to the wall there. Lando, though, gap is coming down, but a fairly decent rate of knots at the moment. But we have got to be careful. There we go, the end of the next lap. Lando Norris into the box. That was a fair amount of curb through the final chicane there, but for the first time then, I think the first time pretty much today, will lead the way then here in the Canadian Grand Prix. But Lando Norris is going to be mighty fast over the next few laps, and we've got to try and lose as little time as possible. Is he going to come out in clear air there? It's going to be close to the Alfa Romeo. I think he will just about be out in front there. So Lando Norris has timed that safety car pretty well, especially if all the cars in front of him box quite soon. We're going to try to extend the stint. So there we go, Verstappen back in.
Max in the pits.
And now we get Lando Norris back into P2 so we can monitor the gap to the AlphaTauri. It is coming down. It's going to be a big push in the final 10 laps here once we make this stop. I feel like Mick Schumacher and Nikita Mazepin running in 3rd and 4th here is a bit like the old meme of, look at us, who would have thought it, not me. There's no way those two Haas teammates would have ever thought they'd be here. To be honest, I'm amazed Mazepin survived it this long in this series. So, there we go. Lando Norris setting the pace down onto a 108 flat. We are nowhere near that sort of time. Oh, we got yellow flags out on lap 25. Who's dropping to the wayside here? I think it's Carlos Sainz, who might be going slowly here in Canada. So our 3rd retirement of the day there. And if we got a safety car now, that could massively boost my afternoon. But not looking like we are there. Sainz out of the Grand Prix. White when Ferrari didn't need that.
Oh. Yellow flag.
I just completely forgot to pit. Oh no.
Be aware, there's an incident in the next part of the track. No overtaking through the yellow flags.
I just completely forgot to pit in the Grand Prix there, so we're going to have to make sure we... Oh, come on. Don't do that either. Tyres are definitely going.
Right, come in at the end of this lap.
Just warning Jeff then, we are going to be boxing at the end of this lap. Maybe so he'll remind me again when we get to Sector 3 there. But Lando Norris, gap now down to 7 seconds in this GP. It's going to be a mammoth task to try and close this one back up. Right, heading down in towards the final couple of corners then. Got to remember to actually pit this time round in the Grand Prix. But Lando Norris, like I said, just 7 seconds back now. With just a handful of laps to go then. Very aggressive on the way into the pit lane here. But every 10th counts at this stage of the day. Just double check. Yeah, we have put the soft tyres on ready for this final stint. There goes Lando Norris. So he's going to re-inherit the lead of the Grand Prix there. And we, hopefully, 2.5 second stop isn't too shabby either. Should be out ahead of Leclerc and Bottas, which is super important as well in this GP.
See these tyres through to the end now.
So 9 laps to go then of this Canadian Grand Prix, and the gap 9 seconds to Lando Norris. Could we make it 3 wins in a row in this series, or could we see our 6th different winner from 5 teams in the opening 8 Grand Prix? Myself versus Lando? Who's your money on? Well, purple through Sector 1, green through Sector 2. This lap so far has shaped up pretty well. Can we sneak back the fastest lap bonus point away from Lando Norris, as long as we don't do anything stupid in this final chicane? I certainly hope so. Still just basically trying to guess our braking point in towards that final chicane there, but a nice tidy run on the exit, and that is going to be a 107.5.
That was the fastest lap of the race. Keep this up.
So that should be fastest lap bonus point pretty much secured there, but the gap to Lando only came down a second that lap. Despite going purple, Lando Norris has got some pace. Look at this, next lap round, we've only taken a good 8/10 at Lando Norris this time.
Manage your tyres.
We're going to have to really dig deep here, and if it's going to come down to anything, it will be the last lap of this Canadian Grand Prix. You can just see how hard we're pushing, but we're just not finding what we need. F1 2021 is so weird there. That felt like a bad lap, and that time round we took 1.3 at Lando Norris. They're only a few thousandths away from my personal best in this Grand Prix. It's not over.
24.7 seconds.
What is over probably is Verstappen's career after this season, because he is just still nowhere week in, week out. Come on, 4 laps to go, gap 4 seconds. This is not over, but we are going to need qualifying laps right to the very end. We can do this though.
5 laps of fuel remaining.
Car super fast through some sections, and then Lando Norris through others. Seems to put time back on me, but using all the battery every single lap, using all the tyre life, and that time round purple through Sector 1. Love that. I think, to be honest, if we can get DRS starting the final lap of this Grand Prix, we've got every possible chance of winning this race. If we can't, however, I think Lando Norris might just have enough in the back pocket there, and that's where we need the gap to be under 1 second next time round. Currently the gap, 2 seconds. Oh, it's going to be super close. Perhaps Lando Norris's tyres are just starting to go off, but the gap is still coming down here with just a lap and a half to go here in the Canadian Grand Prix. But I said it was here. We needed the gap to be down to 1 second, and it isn't yet. The gap's still 1.3 as we head into the hairpin for the penultimate time. They're getting nowhere near the apex, but sometimes that still allows you to get quite a nice run off the corner. 1 more lap to go then here in the Canadian Grand Prix, and like I said, can we make it 3 wins in a row, or will it be Lando Norris being crowned our 6th different winner of the year in just 8 races, and like I said, our fifth different team to win a race in Season 7 as well there.
Final lap of the race.
1 more lap to go here from Canada. Lando Norris or myself, who is it going to be there as we really try and put the power down at the first corner, getting a lot of wheel spin in 4th and 5th gear there. Tap the curbs through the 2nd sector. I swear to God, if my curtains now blind me on this final lap, I will forever curse the British summer. But anyway, down through the middle sector we go there again, still trying to lean on the car with everything we've got on this final lap. Their tyres still providing us with just enough grip, but they are definitely now starting to go off, and there we go! Oh, dearie me! I just said the tyres started to go off late on in the Canadian Grand Prix there, and we had to go all or nothing on this final lap, but the curbs, just like they almost did in qualifying, are going to come back to haunt us here, and down in towards the final chicane then of this race. Lando Norris, for the first time, I want to say, since Singapore Season 5, will be back on top in Formula 1 there. We pushed him hard right to the very end, but our 6th winner of just 8 races here. Lando Norris wins in Canada.
Nice work, you did well today. I think the boss will be happy with that one.
That's it then for another magnificent Canadian Grand Prix, and they've hung on to take a sublime victory here today. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
Well, they played the safety car to absolute perfection. There are so many factors to worry about once the race is neutralised. I mean, do you pit for fresh rubber? Do you have the space behind you? How much fuel can you save? If you answer all of those questions correctly, you'll have a good chance. And that's exactly what happened today.
And it's time now for the podium celebrations, and how well deserved is this one? This is a team all about giving talented young drivers an opportunity to race and to win. AlphaTauri are your winners here today. Mr. Monaco increases their championship lead. Let's focus on the driver of the day, Anthony Davidson. Who do you pick?
Well, you can't fault anything that Sergio Perez did out on the track today. He drove flawlessly, making him an easy pick.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. No change in the top spot, but with today's points, their hold on the lead is getting weaker. Meanwhile, good work from Aston Martin this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. I'm equal parts exhausted and elated with this weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for the next one.
Well, there we are then, guys. The end of the Canadian Grand Prix, and Lando Norris, the move away from 2&2 Motorsport to AlphaTauri of all places, seemed like a bit of an odd choice back at the end of Season 5 there. But he's made it worth his while today, and Lando Norris stands back on top here in the Formula 1 world there. AlphaTauri, their first win, I think, well, I know they got a win, or a couple of wins even, in the Williams RTG, but don't know if they've won a race, actually, in the My Team career mode there. And like I said, our 6th different winner in the opening 8 Grand Prix. It's been an absolutely insane start to the final campaign there. We come through for P2 there, just 2.2 seconds back in the end, but with the fastest lap bonus point means we do further extend our lead over George Russell in the championship there. Charles Leclerc gets a podium ahead of Bottas and Tsunoda there, and like we said, look at that, 7 cars from 7 teams in the top 7 there. That is just how wild Season 7 of this career mode really is there. Perez, 17th to 8th, a good recovery by him, ahead of Ricciardo and Esteban Ocon there, and you can see the rest of your finishers. Lance Stroll, it could have been his today, but unfortunately threw it away early on there. The pressure at home really did get to the Canadian there. Championship-wise, though, means that we now have a 24-point lead at the top of the standings. They're 70 ahead of Sergio Perez there, and Charles Leclerc is still ahead of Yuki Tsunoda. Norris jumps all the way up into 6th place with that result there, and now Ricciardo and Max Verstappen tied in 7th there. Gio gets past Lance Stroll, Bottas gets past Ocon a bit further down the order, and constructors-wise, though, the gap at the top does come down. Red Bull on a square 200, but we're now just 9 away on 191. But thank you all so much for watching this video nonetheless. If you have enjoyed it, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed as well, and we'll be back very, very soon. We've got another F1 2022 video going live tomorrow, so you definitely do not want to miss that. But thank you all so much, and we'll be back very, very soon with more F1 content. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.